Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to be changing the brake lines of a 35-year-old bike for braided brake hoses, and we're going to see what difference it makes. So here are the brake lines I'm going to be fitting to the bike. I got these from a local motorbike shop quite cheaply. I think they're only £10 per line. I've looked at Goodrich hoses online, and for a front set only, I think you'll be paying something like £60–70 plus. And I got the rear one as well. So this is the rear one, this is a spare one I just bought. These go from the splitter to each brake caliper, and this goes from the master cylinder to the splitter. Now these old bikes have splitters. Lots of modern bikes don't, especially when you've got ABS and stuff. Or you can get a race setup. I think a large line would go from the master cylinder down to the first brake caliper, and then one loops over to the second caliper. I'll see if I can show a photo of it, but this one is slightly different. So for £10 per line, so I'm doing the entire front brake setup for a mere 30 quid. Now they're slightly different. These are your standard crimped on ends, and this hasn't got any. So what you do, you get the type of crimp that you like. Some will have a bend in them, some will have a kink or straight, and you just screw them in depending on which one suits your setup. So that is your brake line splitter. So we'll be removing this brake line from this brake caliper up to the splitter. Same on the other side, down to the brake caliper. And then the other line, which is just there, goes up to your master cylinder. So remember, when working with brake fluid, plenty of paper towel and rags. You don't want to get this all over your stuff. Somebody going out for a spin. So this is a 12mm bolt. Probably easier to work from the bottom, and then you can drain all the fluid out. Okay, so I'm then going to pump the brake to try and release some of the fluid. And you can hear it coming out and seeing it going into the jar. If you just disconnected it all, it would probably just drain out, but I'm trying to just not spill it everywhere. So I'm just going to go around the other side and do exactly the same. You don't really need to see that. Okay, we're going to try and remove this bolt. I'm expecting some brake fluid to come out, so hence the rags. You don't really want to get this over any paintwork. A little washer just fell out somewhere. Not a big deal because I'll be replacing them with new ones. And this side. Gosh, that was tight. Okay, and then we're just going to unbolt this one from here. Now what I didn't show you, which was the whole purpose of this, to see the difference between old brake lines. Remember, these are the original brake lines on a bike from 1989. Is how much difference does it make the actual braking? Now, I can't show you now because I've disconnected the brakes, but when pulling this brake lever, with a little bit of effort, you could get it all the way back and touching the grip, and that is with the adjuster adjusted to the furthest out point. So I just want to see, when I put the braided lines on, how much difference that's going to make to the brakes itself. Like I say, I wish I'd shown you that to start with, but believe me, pulling it back, you would have got it to the grip. And the brakes were very, I've described them in the past as quite woolly. You know, it's they'd stop you with a bit of effort, but nothing like the modern brakes on the Speed Triple. Okay, so here are the old brake lines, and they're a little bit tired looking. I don't think I'm going to put that boot back on. And you can see these ones are much more pleasing to the eye, and that's normally why most people change their brake lines, because it's just a better look, really. That bolt there, if you can see the crush washer, struggling to get that one off. Anyway, there's one. You see how that has got itself mangled somehow. Lucky we didn't have a leak with that one. I'm not sure how that happened, because I put this bike back together last, so I missed that, obviously. And that's another debate: aluminium washers or copper washers. I think I've spoken to people about it in the past. I can't remember what the result was, but I don't think there's any difference really. It's just with aluminium washers you have to dispose of them, and copper washers you can use again, which I really don't see the point of reusing something that costs pennies. So just taking that one off, you can see I've just broke it. Really not sure how it got into that shape. Very weird. So got new washers here. So I'm going to start with working away from the brake caliper up. So I'll need one there, and I'll need one that side as well. I think these lines are slightly too long for this bike, but I'm sure they'll be fine. Another one. And another one. Okay, let's try and get the brake caliper side done first. So you've also got to decide now which way you want this kink to run. Whether you want the straight one down here, which I think would make that too tight. That one seems to fit better, and it kind of kicks away nicely then from the rest of the caliper. So that's how I'm going to do it. So your brake caliper bolt through from there, and then your other washer on that side. So that's getting tighter, and remember they're only aluminium, so it'll tighten. I'm sure there's a torque setting. The clip on. So what I'm going to do with these braided lines, when it gets to the splitter, I'm going to cross them over, because they are slightly too long. If you cross them, it seems to take some of the length out of it. Okay, so instead of the left one going to the left splitter, that would probably be fine, but I'm going to take it over to this side, and vice versa. That one's going to go to that side. So they're slightly crossed over, it won't make any difference, I don't think. So we're going to put that one in there. Washer. Good. I'm just going to loosely fit this for the minute, just to see how it sits. Okay, so I did put a straight one on the splitter side, and there was a bent, kinked one originally. So I think I'm going to put the bent, kinked one back on. It kind of just throws it away from the splitter a little better. And I've gone with a slightly offset one on the other end, like that. So that's like a left kick. The original one was a second. The original one was like that. So we're going to go with that setup. It's going to go up there somewhere. Then we're going to go into there and then wash it on. In the splitter there's a little cutout for the banjo bolt, or whatever it's called, to go into. And again, not doing these up ridiculously tight. Good. Okay, so I've now got to bleed the brakes. Now I bought this vacuum pump thing for something else. I can't remember what it was for, but it's for bleeding brakes, I believe. I've no idea how it works. I'm guessing because it says to pump there, that goes there, that goes onto the bleed nipple. You press that and it sucks the liquid and the brake fluid down. I'm not entirely sure. We've got these little caps here that have got A, B, C written on them, and I thought that would go over the bleed nipple, but none of them seem to fit. So I'm just going to connect the siphoning tube up. Okay, so we just want to really make sure we don't get brake fluid all over everything. Seems to be stuck like shit to a blanket. Good. Okay, nice and empty in there. And like I say, not dirty really. Let's have a look. Nothing awful going on in there because it had new brake fluid, 2000 I think it was. Sorry, not 2000. Crikey. 2020. Sometimes the diaphragm pulls itself inside out. That's not a big deal. It's fine. Okay, let's get some brake fluid in there. It's a nice fresh bottle of brake fluid. Okay, so I'm not sure, like I say, how this suction thing works. So, do I pump the suction thingy and then pull the brake lever, or will it just come out on its own? Okay, so I got a bit of pressure on there. Pull the brake lever. So all I've done there is pull the brake lever in as opposed to pumping it like you would do old school. fluid level is dropping. You see the pressure dropping. I guess I got to keep that up. Okay, just going to top that up. I'm just going to go around the other side and try the same there. Let's just do it the old-fashioned way. Pipe in jar. Okay, that seems very firm at the brake lever at the moment. I'm just going to go around the other side again. There's no bubbles coming out of there. If you can hear me doing this, I'm pressing the brake lever a couple of times, then keeping the pressure on, and then opening the nipple. So press, press, press. Keep the pressure on the brake lever. Open it. Close it, let go of the brake lever. I'm going to go around the other side again. So pump, 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 hold, open, brake fluid coming out with no bubbles, close, let go of the brake lever. One more. Pump, 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 hold in, open the nipple, brake lever goes down to the bar, close, let go of the brake lever. Okay, that seemed quite good. Okay, let's have a look at the results here. So I just got to put the cap on, it doesn't make any difference to what's happening right now. So if I pull the lever, I'm pulling quite hard there, as hard as I can pull it. I can't go any more, and we've got a nice gap. Now I wish I'd shown you before I took the brakes apart originally that I could get that lever to touch there. So I'm kind of excited to go out on the bike and see what difference it makes to the actual braking whilst riding. I will keep you informed of that. So all I've got to do to finish off is just top the reservoir slightly back up, put the cap back on, and we're good to go. That's very good actually. I'm really pleased with that. So the whole point of this video was to find out if braided hoses are better than rubber hoses. Now I'm sure they are, but they're certainly better than, how old is this bike? 35 years old-ish, 1989. So those brake lines have been on there since. That's really good. So I'm very pleased with that. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and keep coming back for more videos. I will do the back brake at some point. I will also remember, just a quickie before we sign off, if you've been using brake fluid, just make sure you clean around everything. Just in case there's been splashes here and there, it isn't very good for your paintwork. So getting some soapy water will do. Brake cleaner, whatever you want to do. Okay, take care. Catch you in the next video.